A wife donates her eggs. 20 years later, her boyfriend demands she track down the kids. A dad gets arrested in a money scam, then blames his girlfriend for leaving him there. 12 viral Reddit stories that will leave you speechless. Want more jaw-dropping Reddit drama? Hit subscribe so you never miss the next wild story. Drop a comment below. Which of these was the craziest? We read every reply. Back in high school, I dated Carla, not her real name, a girl who would later become a world-famous actress. We were high school sweethearts and stayed together for years, even trying long distance when she left for acting school. Eventually, though, it didn't work out, and we broke up amicably. Years passed, I moved on, and eventually, I started dating Annabelle. She had no idea about my past with Carla, and I didn't think it was relevant. After all, Carla and I hadn't spoken in years, and I was happy for her success from afar. Everything was going well, until our one-year anniversary dinner. Midway through the meal, Annabelle gasped and pointed toward the door. "Look, Carla's here. I have to get her autograph." Sure enough, Carla and her mom had walked in. Her family still lived nearby, so it wasn't entirely unexpected. Before Annabelle could approach them, Carla spotted me. Her face lit up, and she rushed over to say hello. Annabelle froze as Carla hugged me and asked how I'd been. We chatted briefly, and Annabelle, though clearly stunned, eventually worked up the courage to ask for an autograph. After a few minutes, Carla left us to finish our date, and I thought nothing more of it. But when we got home, Annabelle was furious. "You dated Carla, and you never told me." She accused me of hiding something huge, that dating a celebrity was a big deal and keeping it from her was a betrayal. I tried explaining that I didn't think it mattered, that Carla's fame made it feel like gossip, and I didn't want to invade her privacy by bragging. But Annabelle insisted that a lie of omission is still a lie. Now, she's upset, and I'm stuck wondering, should the past stay in the past? Story 2. My 15-year-old daughter, Emily, is a sweet, smart kid who loves video games, anime, and Star Wars. She proudly calls herself a nerd, but that's also made her a target for bullies. Over the years, she's grown tougher, but one boy just won't leave her alone. Jeff, my nephew's 16-year-old best friend. Jeff has tormented Emily for years. It's not just name-calling. He's pulled her hair, ruined her clothes, and even threw her backpack in a toilet. Last year, they got into a physical fight over it. We've had meetings with his parents and the school, but nothing changes. He's cruel, relentless, and shows no remorse. Now, here's the problem. Every year, my entire family, my siblings, their kids, and my parents, goes on a big 2-week vacation together. This year's trip is next week, and my nephew invited Jeff. When I found out, I immediately said no. I told my sister we wouldn't go unless Jeff was uninvited. Emily had a panic attack at the thought of being trapped on a trip with him, and she flat out refuses to go if he's there. But my family thinks I'm the problem. My sister begged me to reconsider, saying Jeff has a rough life, his parents are divorced, his home life is unstable, and she thinks this trip could be good for him. My parents and siblings are siding with her, calling me cruel for excluding him. I get that Jeff has struggles, but why does that mean my daughter has to suffer? She shouldn't have to spend her vacation walking on eggshells around a boy who's made her life miserable. Am I wrong for refusing to go? Or is my family failing Emily by prioritizing Jeff's second chance over her safety and peace of mind? Story 3. A little girl with bright purple hair chalk sprinted up to me today, eyes wide with curiosity. "Did you dye your hair just for Halloween?" she asked. I laughed. "Nope, it's always purple." Her face instantly morphed into sheer betrayal. She whirled around, finger pointed straight at her dad. "You lied. You said purple hair is illegal after Halloween." The poor dad just sighed and smacked his forehead like he'd been caught in the world's most specific parental con. Turns out, I'd just accidentally exposed his genius, but flimsy, loophole to avoid endless hair chalk begging. Whoops. Story 4. When I booked my flight to Vegas, I paid an extra $75 for a window seat with extra legroom, not just for comfort, but because I'm disabled and need the space. So imagine my surprise when I boarded and found a grown man already planted in my seat. I stayed polite. "Excuse me, I think you're in my seat." Instead of moving, he glared at me like I was the problem. "You shouldn't make a scene just because you want extra legroom," he sneered. I kept my cool. "Actually, I paid for this seat." That's when he stood up, all 6 feet 1 inch and 300 pounds of him, trying to intimidate me. Joke's on him. I'm petite, but I served in Afghanistan. I don't scare easy. So I gave him a choice. Pay me $150 in cash, and the seat's yours. I paid $75, so I want double if you're stealing it. He scoffed. "You want me to pay you for this seat? So you admit it's not yours?" I fired back. "Last warning, move, or I'll call the airline staff. They can escort you to your actual seat. I booked this one because of my disability, a disability I got fighting for your freedom. And now you're trying to steal it." The entire cabin went silent. Passengers turned to stare. His face turned beet red. Without another word, he slunk off to his real seat, a cramped middle row, and spent the rest of the flight sulking under his hoodie. And just to twist the knife, I made sure to murmur, loud enough for him to hear, "Wow, this extra legroom is so comfortable." Story 5. For years, my family has kept a painful secret, one that finally exploded last week in an argument with my sister. Now, my 11-year-old niece knows the truth, and everyone is blaming me for traumatizing her. But was I really wrong? When I was 17, my sister, then 20, had an unplanned pregnancy. Her boyfriend left her, and due to our religious family, she kept the baby. But after giving birth, she panicked. Instead of going through legal adoption, she asked me and our mother to raise her daughter. No formal custody, just a family agreement. So I dropped out of school. I fed her, changed her, taught her to walk, and basically became her primary caregiver while my mom worked to support us. For 3 years, I was more of a parent to my niece than my sister was. Then, my sister met her now husband, got her life together, and suddenly decided she wanted her daughter back. No warning, no discussion. Just moved back home, said thanks, and took over as mom. My niece, now 11, has no memory of those early years, and the family silently agreed to pretend it never happened. Until last week. During an argument, my sister made a petty jab about me losing my job, implying I couldn't handle responsibility. I snapped, "You're lucky your daughter doesn't remember how you abandoned her." Of course, my niece overheard. She demanded to know what I meant, and I told her the truth, that her mother hadn't been ready to raise her and left her with me and our grandmother. Now, my sister is furious, saying I traumatized her daughter. My mom says I should have kept the secret. But how could this have stayed hidden forever? My niece deserves to know her own history. Since the argument, I've tried to get the family together to explain things properly, but my sister wants to sweep it under the rug and hope my niece forgets. Meanwhile, my mom is siding with her, acting like I'm the villain for speaking up, even though I sacrificed my education to raise her child. So, am I wrong here? Should I have stayed silent forever? Or was it only a matter of time before the truth came out? Edit. To clarify, this wasn't some reckless outburst. My niece overheard us hours after I'd put her to bed. She came downstairs unexpectedly. And yes, I was asked to drop out of school at 17 to care for her. I never went to college. Now, I'm trying to handle the aftermath responsibly, but my sister and mom just want to pretend it never happened. How is that fair to my niece? Edit 2. I'm realizing I should have been clearer. I was 17 when my niece was born, not when my sister got pregnant. The timeline matters, because I was still a kid myself when I took on this responsibility. At this point, I just want what's best for my niece, even if that means facing hard truths. But my family would rather live in denial. Story 6. My stepmom confessed she's emotionally cheating. Should I tell my dad? This weekend took a turn I never saw coming. I was visiting my dad, 52, and stepmom Kate, 42, excited to catch up after hearing they were working through some recent marital struggles. They'd even taken a temporary separation, each parenting their kids, my half-brothers, 15 and 9, apart for a few weeks, but from what my dad said, things were back on track. Or so I thought. Kate and I ended up having a few glasses of wine on the balcony, and the conversation got deep. Out of nowhere, she hit me with, "Can I trust you with something?" Spoiler, I was not prepared. She confessed she's been physically and emotionally drawn to another man. Someone married, someone she insists she hasn't slept with yet, but someone she has feelings for. At first, she wouldn't say who, which almost made it worse, like some mystery drama unfolding in real time. I tried to stay calm, gave her advice as if I'm some relationship guru. And we moved on when my dad got home. Then, the neighbors came over. More drinks, some legal weed, and at one point, I pulled Kate aside and asked, "Is it him?" Silence. Oh, my God. It's their neighbor. Kate swears she wants to fight for her marriage, and I believe her. But then I watched her interact with my dad versus this guy, and it made me sick. She's always been this confident, put-together woman I admire. But around this neighbor, she turned into this insecure, flirty mess, completely disregarding my dad right in front of him. Now I'm stuck. Do I tell my dad? Do I give Kate an ultimatum to come clean herself? Or do I stay out of it, even though it's eating me alive? The worst part. My dad has no idea. He thinks they're fixing things. Meanwhile, his wife is out here catching feelings for the guy next door. So, whipped her if I intervened. Or is this one of those not my circus, not my monkey situations? Side note, if I do say something, how the hell do I even start that conversation? Hey dad, so Kate's kinda into the neighbor. Ooh. Story 7. When I was 32, life was overwhelming. My husband and I were drowning in bills, both working full-time while he juggled school, raising 3 young kids, and barely keeping our heads above water. Then, I learned about egg donation. A friend connected me with a reputable agency, and after one cycle of hormones and retrieval, yielding 15 eggs, I was matched with a couple from California. The wife couldn't produce viable eggs or carry a pregnancy, and they were drawn to my profile. Likely because, like them, I had red hair and green eyes, and had already had 3 healthy children. They went on to have 3 kids via surrogate using my eggs, so, biologically half mine, half the husband's. I was paid $5,000, money that went straight toward medical bills, daycare, and keeping our family afloat. After the process, I never asked for updates, didn't see pictures, and had no further contact. To me, it was a closed chapter. Fast forward to now. I'm divorced, my kids are grown, youngest is 23, and I'm in a new relationship. Recently, I casually mentioned the donation in conversation, assuming it was just an interesting fact about my past. But my boyfriend was horrified. His issues. You never told me. It wasn't a secret, it just never came up. It's ethically wrong. He insists selling eggs is exploitative, despite it being a regulated, consensual process. How can you not care? He's fixated on the idea that I have 3 biological children out there, and thinks I should track them down or at least wonder about them. But here's the thing, I don't. To me, those eggs were genetic material, not my children. The couple who raised them are their parents, end of story. I have no emotional attachment, no curiosity about their lives, and no regrets. Now, though, my boyfriend won't drop it. What was a passing anecdote has turned into daily debates, with him pushing me to find them or questioning my morals. I'm starting to wonder, am I the asshole for not caring? Or is he overreacting? Honestly, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. That $5,000 kept my family going when we needed it most. But my boyfriend acts like I sold state secrets. So, AITA for seeing this as no big deal? Side note, if anyone's the weird one here, isn't it the guy obsessing over someone else's kids? Just saying. Story 8. My BF got arrested in a currency scam he ignored my warnings about. Now he's mad I didn't wait for him. Here's the situation. My boyfriend, 28M, and I, 31F, live in country A, where currency exchange is tightly controlled. I work in country B and get paid in their currency, $B. So exchanging money legally is always a headache. One day, some random guy online messages my BF asking if we want to trade $B for $A. My BF brought it to me, and I had him check the rate. It was suspiciously good. This is 100% a scam, I told him, and we dropped it. Or so I thought. A month later, I get a call from Country A's police. My BF had been detained for illegal currency exchange. Turns out, he went ahead with the deal without telling me, and the rando was actually a money launderer. Now I had to rush back to Country A mid-workday for hours of interrogation. The police grilled me on whether I was running scams or if my legitimate job was a front. By 9 p.m., they finally cleared me, but my BF was still being questioned. Since he was just a scam victim and the amount was small, we knew he'd be released soon. But I had critical meetings the next morning, and the last train to Country B was leaving, so I told him I had to go. He got out around 1 a.m., as expected. Now, he's pissed I didn't wait for him, saying he did this for me since I'm the one who might need $A. But from my side, I explicitly warned him it was a scam. He did it behind my back anyway. I lost a full workday, sat through hours of police questioning, and still made a 5-hour round trip to help. And yet, he thinks I'm the one who failed him. So, ete for not waiting. Or is he the one who owes me an apology for dragging me into his reckless decision? Side note, if he really did this for me, maybe next time he should listen to me? Just a thought. Story 9. I stopped letting my cousin babysit after seeing her toxic stan behavior. Now my family says I'm overreacting. My 22-year-old cousin, Lara, is deep into stan culture, the kind where being a fan means bullying, slurs, and relentless hate toward anyone who disagrees with her faves. I didn't realize how bad it was until she accidentally liked one of my posts from her hate account, where she mocks fans of certain celebs, some of whom my daughter loves, uses cruel nicknames and slurs, tells people they're mentally ill and should be locked up, posts vile, dehumanizing comments, I won't even repeat them. Seeing that changed how I saw her. I couldn't unsee the venom in her posts, especially knowing she'd been around my kid. So, I quietly found a new babysitter. Cut to now. Lara's struggling to save for a car and asked why I stopped hiring her. I tried to dodge it, but she pushed. So I told her the truth. I don't want someone who spends hours online spewing cruelty around my daughter. Her reaction: "It's just jokes. You're too old to understand. You're policing me." Meanwhile, she's out here comparing fans to psychiatric patients. When I read her own words back to her, my family turned on me, saying I'm overreacting and too sensitive. Lara even tried the "I bet your internet history isn't clean" defense. Spoiler: I don't harass strangers online. But here's the thing, this isn't just drama. It's real-life behavior, the kind that normalizes bullying and bigotry. Yes, she's even targeted our gay cousin's faves. I don't want my daughter thinking this is how adults act. So, AITA? Am I really out of touch for not wanting a grown woman who spends her time viciously attacking people to influence my kid? Or is my family just too desensitized to how toxic this is? Side note, if jokes include telling people to institutionalize themselves, maybe the problem isn't my reaction, it's the jokes. Story 10. My husband questioned our unplanned pregnancy. Now I feel betrayed. I, 25F, just found out I'm 14 weeks pregnant with my husband's, 39M, baby, unplanned, but not unwelcome. Or so I thought. When I told him over the phone after my ultrasound, he went dead silent, which never happens. This man always has something to say. Confused, I asked what was wrong. Him: something isn't adding up. Me: what do you mean? Him: the timing, we didn't have sex around then. He doubled down, saying he needed to figure this out, then hung up. Translation: he was accusing me of cheating without saying the words. I broke down crying in Walmart while with our 2 kids, my 5-year-old, whom he adopted, and our 8-month-old. By the time he got home, I was devastated. I told him, "You broke my heart and my trust." For context, we've been together 3 years. He chose to be a father to my oldest. I have never cheated, not even close. Yet, his first reaction to an unplanned pregnancy was to question my loyalty instead of considering he might have miscalculated dates or, trusted his wife. Now I'm left wondering, AITA for calling him out? Or was his immediate suspicion the real betrayal here? Story 11. My GF wants to deduct her living expenses from our rent deal, and now she's mad I said no. When my girlfriend moved in with me, we had a clear arrangement. I'd charge her $400 flat for rent, utilities, and everything else. Way less than the $1,700 plus she was paying before. That meant she'd be saving over $1,300 a month. Before the move, she helped pay $9,000 to upgrade my place. New kitchen, bedroom, even a washer-dryer, to make it feel like ours. Fair enough. So I told her, take the $1,300 you're saving each month and pay yourself back. In 7 to 8 months, you'll break even. Simple, right? Not to her. Tonight, she casually drops, it's gonna take me longer to pay myself back, like $1,000 a month instead. Me, confused. Wait, why not $1,300? Her reasoning. Now I can't split cat food with my mom. I have to order more takeout. So she's keeping an extra $300 for her expenses, deducting it from the money meant to repay her. Me. No. Those are your living costs now. They don't get factored into the rent deal. Her. Silent fuming, then stomps off to bed. So, AITA here? She agreed to the arrangement, and now she's trying to rewrite the math to cover her own spending. If she wanted to adjust the terms, she should have said so before, not after I've already cut her rent by 75%. Story 12. Let me start by saying, I don't hate dogs. They're cute, I get why people love them, but I'm just not a dog person. Give me a cat any day. This morning, I was walking through the park, enjoying a snack, when out of nowhere, an unleashed German Shepherd came barreling at me. Before I could react, it was jumping on me, paws on my shirt, sniffing at my food. I yelped and stumbled back, trying to gently push it away, but this dog was determined to turn me into its new jungle gym. Finally, the owner sauntered over, laughing. Oh don't worry, she's friendly. She just wants to play. Me, panicked, brushing off muddy paw prints. I don't want to play, please call her off. But he just kept grinning, repeating she's harmless. Like that magically erased the fact his dog was harassing a stranger. So I snapped. Me, deadpan, well, I'm not friendly. Get your dog away from me. Cue the dramatic gasp. Suddenly, I was the villain for not being thrilled about an uninvited, muddy wrestling match. He finally called the dog back, muttering about how some people are so uptight. When I told my mom later, she said I was too harsh, just walk away next time. But in the moment, I froze. Fight or flight kicked in, and flight wasn't an option with 70 pounds of friendly dog blocking my escape. So, for not pretending to be cool with an unleashed dog invading my space? Or was the real rudeness the owner assuming everyone wants to play with his pet, whether they like it or not?